I don't know. The link is out there. Yes. Okay. Put that away. All right. I think it is working now. No. I need to sit over there. Go ahead.
I'm Ruth Williams.
I'm Isabel Fuente.
I'm Eva Scowers.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Cecile Vincent.
And this is our Make a Difference mental health presentation. So Make a Difference is a class project where students and groups choose a topic that they want to help in their community. It consists of 3 phases where we research and volunteer, present at what we call our MaD fair, and present here at Trinity to show what we've done. The importance of this project was to help us become more aware of global issues and to raise awareness in our community so that way other people can become more aware as well.
Mental health is a topic that has been with humanity since the dawn of time and will be present until the end of time. 43.5 million Americans, 1 in 5 children are affected by a mental illness every year. In this case, a young girl afflicted with anxiety and depression walked into a cafeteria looking for friendship and consolence, as most teenagers wish for. She sat down at a table, smiled at her peers, until one of them looked her in the eye and said, "Let's leave before this freak kills herself at our table." Everyone, I implore you, if your child ever shows a sign of a mental illness, get help, because before you know it, it might be too late. Luckily for our narrator, she got admitted into a guidance center and recovered quickly with love, support, and therapy. Mental illnesses aren't anything to be afraid of, but it's something that needs to be addressed, which is why we chose our topic. And what did we do to help?
To start off phase 1, we had to write 2 essays totaling 1,000 words to get more background information about our topic. We also volunteered at Clarity Child Guidance Center, where our marketing coordinator, Brenda Pena, gave us a tour and brochures that we have used a lot during our project.
Phase 3 was all about advocating and really reaching out to people and showing them what mental illnesses are. And at MaD Fair, we made a trifold, and it had information about mental health and our volunteer service, and we presented it to family members who attended MaD Fair. And we made a PSA to show our classmates, and we, in hopes that we would really show them that the mentally ill are still people too, and to stop stigmatizing mental illnesses.
Not only did we raise awareness, but also money. We did this by buying chocolates and donuts to sell to our peers, which the parents of our group helped buy, which thank you. And then also there was a sister group who also was using mental health and Clarity as their foundation. So together we made a big donation to Clarity, over $200, and with this money it went to the kids at Clarity to help them with their mental illness.
Thank you. So throughout this project, we learned a lot about the topic of mental health, ourselves, and especially each other. A while back, we did a compass points activity where each direction was kind of designated, like with its own personality type and how it would use strategies in a project. So by using those compass point directions, each of us assigned ourselves to our own direction, and by doing that, we found our strengths, weaknesses, and how we could best contribute to our group to reach our common goal of raising awareness.
Mental health is a topic that is very stereotyped, feared, and misrepresented. A lot of people are afraid of it or think that people with a mental illness are crazy or just not like anybody else and shouldn't get the same rights or respect. But in reality, they are good people who are perfectly capable of most things that other people are. It's just difficult for some people because they do have discomforts, and it's important to keep them in mind. So raising awareness and eradicating ignorance is the best way to help people with mental illnesses. When we volunteered, we couldn't really interact with the children at the guidance center because it's such a sensitive topic, but we did help the organization in getting youth insight so that they could better advocate and teach parents and teachers how to deal with children and other people with mental illnesses. So awareness is a big part of this issue.
We also learned more about ourselves
Not all pain is physical. Despite the truthfulness behind those words, stigma and fear plague the world of mental health. Because of this, we poured our efforts into raising awareness. It's a general term, yet it encompasses our progress perfectly.
We volunteered at Clarity Child Guidance Center. Our focus was youth insight, but at Make a Difference Fair, we became professionals. A group member had the opportunity to speak to a representative from Clarity. The rest of us advocated for mental health, speaking for those who are shut into silence. We taught parents how to recognize the signs of mental illness. I'll never forget when a parent tentatively asked me, does ADHD count as mental illness? With a smile, I told her that it did, but it wouldn't stop success or happiness. Mental illnesses shouldn't make you a better or worse person. I saw her shoulders relax in relief, and her hand felt was reflected. Here, have a donation.
We also learned more about ourselves and mental health than we originally knew. By working on such a major project for a long time, we each learned our own personal strengths and weaknesses, and our personal presentation skills. We'll also learn more about mental health, which you can see in this video.
To start off with Make a Difference, we first had to know background information. To learn more about mental health, each of us conducted enough information to complete 2 essays. These essays will be hyperlinked in the text below.
After that, for our volunteer service, we volunteered at Clarity Child Guidance Center, where they gave us brochures to further our information on the issue of mental health in children.
While preparing for MaD Fair, we also have to remember to talk about mental health families and society. The majority of the talking points we used newly learned through this project.
In order to learn more about each other, we each designated our personalities with a direction that corresponds with strengths and weaknesses we have. Through this, we learn more about each other and in what ways we can help each other using our strengths. Finally, to summarize how we've made a difference, how we work together, and what we've learned, we each wrote a short personal reflection that you can see in our daily journal tab about what we've experienced so far in this project. So this is all but some of what we've learned, and this has been such a great experience for us and all of the new opportunities that we've been given from Clarity and all of what we've learned. So remember, pain is real,
But so is hope.
We have a quiz for you to take. It's Kahoot, like the other group used. If you can log on to Kahoot.it, and then the game pin will be on the screen soon. Everyone in the
Does anybody need help logging?
Is that everyone?
How many children are affected by a mental illness?
are the place where we volunteer and get most of our information, 1 out of 5 children have a mental illness, but only 4 out of 5 children actually go and get treatment.
Which treatment options is the most stereotyped and feared?
So it does vary per person. A lot of people fear medication because they think that it's going to completely change your personality or it's going to make you into a shell of a person. But in reality, medication can help a lot of people and even save lives.
Who can be affected by a mental illness?
Well, everyone can be affected by a mental illness regardless of gender, age, sexuality, how much money you have, what race you are. Anybody can be affected, even a psychologist's child, just like a doctor's kid can get sick. It can happen to anyone.
How many mental illnesses are there so far? What are the consequences of an untreated mental illness?
It's actually all 3 of them, except for the last one. There are a lot of negative consequences that come with untreated mental illnesses because it's easy for their minds to start running with ideas, and it also depends on the mental illness, what the consequences could be. They could be as simple as just not getting enough sleep to even death. So they should be taken seriously, and science should definitely be focused on.
What subsections are covered under mental health?
So these are categories that are covered under mental health. Self-care is also part of it. It can range from simple self-care to more severe illnesses like schizophrenia and PTSD.
How should you act around people with a mental illness?
This actually surprises some people, but though with people with physical illnesses, it's common for you to just act normal because their minds are perfectly capable like everyone else's. People with mental illnesses, a lot of times they have specific tics or specific triggers that can really upset them and will make their experience with life a lot more difficult. So if they're comfortable with disclosing what their discomforts are, then it's important to adhere by them.
How are some mental illnesses treated?
Oh, well, it's love, support, and therapy is how you treat it. For some people, yes, love and rainbows are probably very effective, but not for everyone.
Clinical depression is?
Okay. So everybody feels sad once in a while, especially after negative experiences, but a feeling of prolonged sadness, worthlessness, or feeling like there's no hope left in the universe, that is depression. So it's okay to feel like that once in a while, but if it's a very constant experience, then it's important for you to reach out to someone.
OCD is?
So a lot of people think that OCD is an adjective and they will use it in normal conversation when they're straightening their clothes or color coding things. But in reality, OCD can be very, very negative in people's lives, and people would be surprised to what extent people's habits go to. So OCD is basically having an obsessive thought and not being able to get rid of it until you do a compulsive action. So you can imagine how that would interfere greatly with some people's lives. It varies, but it's usually this.
What is the best way to help someone having a panic attack?
During panic attacks, it's very difficult for a person to feel like they're in charge of their surroundings and actually get calm, which is why the other three options aren't appropriate, because at this time they aren't thinking clearly and their sadness or their anger is overwhelming them. So it's important to try to get them out of that state as calmly as possible and understand that right now they're not the person you're used to, they're very upset.
There is no hope for people with mental illness.
So having a mental illness can be very, very difficult. Like we said, pain is real, but so is hope. There's always a way to treat someone, and everybody has a chance to in leading a happy, healthy life.
So this concludes our little quiz, and I would like to thank you all for being here and for listening to us, and we hope that you spread the word and that you're still you treat people with mental illnesses normally and you keep their discomforts in mind, and just remember to take care.
Oh, and don't forget to thank all the parents that supported us, like my mom.
Unfortunately, we don't have any prizes, but just the prize is
Knowledge.
Any questions?
So crazy. Can you just give me a little sign? You know, you're all the time on my slide. Okay, I'll tell you what that is. Just don't know
I think all the live streams are working out. You just have to go in there and plug in. So you can put your shares.
He's gonna do it himself. It's about
We have the third group. A few more sheets.
All right, so our topic is domestic abuse, and I'm Bennett Harden. I'm Joaquin Ortiz.
I'm Julie Mendez.
And I'm Caitlin Adara.
Okay, first we're gonna ask you a few questions and just test your knowledge about how much you know about domestic abuse. So the first question is, how many women per minute do you think get stalked, abused, or raped per minute?
You can write this on your coach roll paper. Yeah. US.
The next question is, what can abuse lead to? And when do women have the highest chance of being victims of domestic abuse? Like the age group.
Everybody good?
Okay, keep this in mind because we're going to come back to the answers later.
All right, so make a difference. And although we've already heard about it, make a difference is a project that we have at school where we are put into groups and we have to discuss a topic or try to make a difference in a topic that we care about. So my group chose domestic abuse, and first we made the PSA and we had the bumper stickers, which is right here, and we also made a few posters for these, and we also for the math fair we had our math fair board, which is where we talked to different people at our school who came by, and we gave them a little presentation about domestic abuse. So what is domestic abuse? It's when someone is physically, mentally, verbally, or sexually abused by an intimate partner or a loved one. All right, so we have some statistics for you about domestic abuse, and something like every 9 seconds, a woman is beaten in the United States. 2 out of 3 female homicide cases, females are killed by a family member or intimate partner. 1.3 million women and 835,000 men are physically assaulted by an intimate partner annually in the United States. And on a typical day, there are more than 20,000 calls placed to domestic violence hotlines nationwide.
What is and what isn't being done? So what is being done? So there are some organizations that help. One is the Battered Women Shelter. It is an organization that offers help to women, children, and teens who want to escape from abuse. This organization offers shelter, housing, counseling, clothing, food, and more. Another is the Family Justice Center. It provides free services for domestic violence victims and their children through collaboration with several partner agencies. Their mission is to break the cycle to live free from domestic violence. What isn't being done? Although organizations do their best, they can be understaffed. Not everyone is doing enough to spread awareness, and there isn't much being done. Voicing. Not everyone's voice is being heard. Not many people listen or use their voice to help themselves or others in bad situations. This can be partly due to the fear of their abuser.
Okay, this is what we've done.
You can see here in this picture that we volunteered at the battered women's shelter, which was not easy to schedule an appointment because of our age group. We folded clothes such as like underwear, jeans, t-shirts, and socks that we made into little baggies for kids in need who live in the shelters. We also raised money by buying candy, uh, and chocolate bars that our parents helped us buy. Thank you. We also raised money by asking for donations at the MaD Fair. We raised roughly $187, and all of the money that we raised went to the battered women's shelter. We're raising awareness at school, but also we have a Twitter account. It's on the bottom of our posters.
And it now I say.
You can follow it if you want. At school, we don't see many posters or awareness about domestic abuse, so our mission is to raise awareness at LEAP and all around the world so people can ask for help.
And also, it was really hard to find the battered women's shelter because how secluded it was. So the people that are living there, they can't. Well, the person that is living there, it's very hard to find the address without like making an appointment for them. So the person that was abusing that person that lives there can't come to them and maybe attack them or do something like that violently.
So this is one of the assignments we had in class, is our PSA. We were given the instructions to make a stop motion PSA to raise awareness for domestic abuse. In a span of 2 class periods, we used a whiteboard and marker to come up with a video. So I hope you all enjoyed it. So as you can see, we came up, Julie helped us come up with the very catchy thing. So, and we chose the purple ribbon because that's what it is. The color for domestic abuse.
And the catchy part of it that Caitlin was saying, if your partner is violent, don't be silent. And we advise you to speak up so you can get the help you need.
And speak up for others. If you know somebody who is being abused, it will help them a lot. Yeah, so it doesn't get worse and worse and worse and may lead to something really bad. All right, so we're gonna go back to those questions we asked earlier, and we're gonna give you the answers to them. So the first answer is 24 people per minute, or yeah.
Does anybody want to share their answers? What they said? 30? 10?
All right, and the second question, the answer is domestic abuse can lead to murder or suicide.
Something similar to that?
And then the very last question is if the age group is 20 to 24 years old.
Okay, this is our individual impact. My individual impact is I didn't know a lot about domestic abuse, and well, now I'm more aware of the problem because it's globally an issue, but we can just raise awareness and help other people and hope they do what they need to speak out.
Yeah, like when Julie said, I didn't realize domestic abuse was such a big problem in our community and around the world and everything. And I know a few people that have been abused, and it really sucks to see them that way. That's what happened to them.
As they said, I didn't know much about it when we chose this, but getting to do research and everything, I've learned that it is a very big issue and that there's not really anything being done to help them and people aren't speaking up. And that might be because they're afraid to talk to people or they don't think that people will understand them. Because I have a close friend that has, and I was there for when she went through it. So you just gotta be their friend and stuff and be careful with them. Be friendly.
So I myself didn't know a lot about domestic abuse when I first started this project. And when we were researching it, I found like the different ways that people are abused and like the definitions of them. I was like, wow. It made me realize that I went through some of that when I was little, when I was younger. And it made me realize that like people aren't alone in this, and we can all get help by helping each other.
Yeah, we all have to stand up and help each other out. Hope everything gets better.
So there is a upside to this very negative topic. The problem has gotten better over the years. In this chart, it says the year starts in 1994, and this is about the rate that people were being abused, and this is 2010, and like it went down dramatically, which is very good. And that's like I was saying, together we can beat this if we all help each other and watch out for each other. And another way we can help people is keep trying prevention programs for people, or like people who have already experienced it who can go get help. And add penalties to those who are abusing, like when it comes to like the judicial system. Increase fundings in nonprofits like the Battered Women's Shelter or the Family Justice Center, and for cops who are like trying to stop this as well. That is our presentation.
Any questions?
Actually, two questions. The first one is about that class graph that was referenced there. So the statistics show that the reports have gone down. Was there anything in the research that showed that it's just people aren't reporting it less, or it's just not being talked about as much?
Well, it's a little bit of both of that, and people or women especially, are more empowered in this day and age. So yeah, it's both people who are silent about it and people who aren't for the change.
And then my second question is related to males. And there is an increasing number of males reporting being part of a domestic or an abusive relationship. Did you find in your research that there doesn't seem to be any support for males as much as there is for females? And how do you feel about that?
Yes, we did. I'm sorry.
Well, women tend to get abused more than men, so women get more support than men do, and I feel like we should just equal rights as well as equal support. That's how I feel.
Did you find any compelling stories or experiences or do any interviews? I know it's hard since y'all are younger, you can't exactly, meet with, but, just through research or websites, because there's so many websites and so many resources out there. Did you find any that really hit home?
Well, I think with like Joaquin's stories, that really hit home with me because I'm pretty good friends with him, and just knowing that he went through that it's not fun to know.
Yeah, because I have a very close friend from middle school that I've known for a very long time, and I found out about it maybe 2 years ago about it, and I felt really bad for her because she'd come to school and she'd be really sad and crying. And it hurts to see them like that.
Mm-hmm.
We also have some warning signs.
So I don't think we have many links, but I messed up one of the slides. I'm just gonna warn you about that because we have lots of transitions and I messed up when I'm trying to order. So there's, oh god, I just like to here it goes.
Yeah, thanks.
Design their own templates this year for their slides, and I think your paper that came out.
Okay. Well, hello. My name is Valerie Bolaños.
I'm Amelia Otterbach.
I'm Victoria Costa. Danae Hogan.
I'm Zoe Morris.
And we are LGBT plus rights and acceptance. Now, LGBT plus stands for lesbian, gay, bi, and transsexual. And the plus stands for that there's more sexualities out there, and that LGBT are the main sexualities out there, but there's more like pan and queer and asexual. So that's what LGBT plus stands for. So raise your hand if you've ever heard someone say the offensive term, that's gay. That's a lot of hands. Now, why do you think people say that offensive term? Your stereotype, very good. Ignorance? Yes? Yes, good. Yes.
So they grew up saying it until they realized that it was
Yeah, thank you. Now, why do you think it's offensive?
because it's like saying that's Mexican as an insult. It's just how somebody is, and by using it as a synonym, it's like saying that that's the same thing. Being gay is being stupid.
Thank you, very good. Now, 30% of the LGBT community commits suicide. And does anybody know the average rate of the LGBT community? Like of what age they commit suicide? Can anybody get like a guess of what they think?
Yeah, 16, 17.
Yeah, 15 is the average age. And the transgender community is the most common category. They commit suicide the most. And we're 15, I'm 15, and they're regular people just like us. And the fact that they don't like their lives and they should have a great life like us says a lot. And that's why we wanted to do this topic. We want to raise awareness for other people to know that the LGBT community needs acceptance, and we wanted to make the LGBT community more accepted for who they are, and they shouldn't be treated like they're criminals for being LGBT. They should feel accepted in their own bodies. So that was us in the beginning of Make a Difference, and we were just being our group. Yeah.
So there's a lot of issues around the world, not just in the US. It's actually pretty nice here for a lot of people in the LGBT community, despite the transgender average lifespan of a person being like 32, which is pretty, it's not even halfway to 72, which is our country's normal lifespan for any human being. It's especially bad in places in the East, like Russia, Japan, China. Just in Russia, there are gangs that will go around and vandalize and murder and rape. It's kind of disgusting. But here in Ohio, we had an incident about 2 years ago in 2014. A transgender girl named Leila Alcorn killed herself. She ran into an intersection and, oh boy, I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional. She ran into an intersection and died because her parents sent her to conversion therapy because they thought that she was wrong. They told her that she was confused, and she was only 17. She wasn't even out of high school. So it was kind of, it struck a chord with the whole community at that time, and it brought a lot of awareness to the issue. So that's just a nice little story if you wanted to hear it.
And conversion therapy is when what happens is the child will tell their parents that they're gay, and the parent thinks, oh no, you don't know, you're feeling that way, you're not really gay, we'll take you to a therapist. So they go to the therapist, and the therapist is saying that they're not gay, they're just crazy, they think that way, but they're not. And that's what conversion therapy is, where they try to talk them out of being who they are. And yes.
These processes take years, and they're usually based on Christian beliefs. So usually it's in the Deep South or on the East Coast. It's not, or here in Texas. I know that it's sometimes here in Texas, but when Leila killed herself, there was a law that was passed to ban all conversion therapy locations, but it didn't really go into effect. So that's that.
And Leila Alcorn actually left a note before she killed herself saying that she wanted her death to be like a sign for people to actually accept everyone, and still to this day, people aren't accepted.
So what we wanted to spread awareness, not just in Lee or ISA or STEM and ISA, which is our school, but we wanted to spread it abroad, and we wanted to get the message across to everybody that LGBT community it should be more addressed, and that we need to accept them and they need to feel accepted too. So unfortunately that doesn't happen often, and there's a lot of victims. For example, there was a 24-year-old man named Matthew Shepard, and he went to the University of Wyoming. Now, he had friends, and those friends beated him and tied him to a fence. He was then set on fire, and 18 hours later, a bicyclist found him. But he was so battered up and pistol whipped and burned, the bicyclist thought he was a scarecrow. And his story is very common around the world. And his story in the LGBT community lingers because people like him are abused because we don't accept the LGBT community. So that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to raise awareness, and knowledge is power. So if we tell you what's happening in the LGBT community, then hopefully maybe you guys will do something and actually make a difference and spread awareness. So.
Okay, so for our project, we had to do a PSA, which stands for a public service announcement. We each made our own bumper sticker, and we put them around the school, and with your smartphone, you can scan it and go on our website, and it had this on it. So.
And throughout this project, we had several assignments to do, like finding 10 talking points to talk about at the MaD fair, creating a 1,000-word essay, and like Amelia said, making the bumper stickers. And I think that all helped us all learn more about ourselves and this topic.
So during Make a Difference Fair, our group sold fruit cups and we raised awareness about our topic. We wanted to tell people statistics and stories about the LGBT community and spread the word about how everyone is really the same, and no matter what labels you have, everyone is a person. Can you go to the next slide, please? So at Make a Difference Fair, we also sold fruit cups for $1 each, and we raised $50 that day, which we donated to the Human Rights Campaign. And the Human Rights Campaign is an organization that their mission is to have equality around the whole world, and they're passing laws right now to banish discrimination and help get trans and gay people more rights in the US.
Okay, so for volunteering, I was the coordinator to find a volunteering place, and it was very difficult to find it because we were under the age of 18, and we thought it was really wrong that happened because we wanted to help and we weren't able to, and that really struck us. So we ended up talking to a girl that she is the president of a pride club at Trinity University, and we talked to her about ideas of how we could help and what she's doing to help.
So for our Phase 3 project, we made a difference by creating a mural on campus. We stayed after school from 4 to 8, painting this mural with 4 of us, well, 3 of us, and, well,
3.5.
Yeah. And it was very stressful because there were some conflicts along the way, but we did end up fighting through it and getting it done. And so far we've had 5 people take a picture in front of it with using our hashtag and posting it on social media to raise even more awareness and spread the word.
Okay, about that, we did have conflicts, but we also learned as a group that even though we were different and we had different opinions about things, that we could pull through and actually make something, and it turned out awesome, honestly. It was so cool, and a lot of people complimented it. There was this little girl that she was there for an 8th grade. She was shadowing at the school. She was coming, and she came back once by herself, and she was super excited about it. She was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And then she came back another time with her dad, and then another time with her mom. And they just stood there for like 2 minutes, and they were whispering. She had a smile on her face the entire time, and it was super cute.
For our Make a Difference project, we decided to paint a mural at MaD High School so people could take pictures with it and spread awareness about our topic. One of the ways we saw it make a difference was the day we were painting the mural. An 8th grade girl came up to us and got super excited over it. She eventually came back 3 times, bringing members of her family with her. We hope we see plenty of pictures and spread awareness of this ongoing topic.
Finally, what I took from this project, I came into this project knowing only a little bit about this topic, but I knew that I was passionate about it. And by the end of it, right now, I know a lot more about it, and I know that this won't be the end of me trying to make a difference, and I'm going to try to get everyone I know to accept everyone of the LGBT community.
What I've learned about this was, at first, I only knew what was on the surface, And I thought, like, why are we doing this topic? I mean, LGBT is fine. We just have made a law that accepts gay marriage all around the United States. Why are we doing it? But I was only on the surface, and I didn't know what was under the surface. And I didn't know about conversion therapy and about the homeless rate of LGBT and how people, teenagers are kicked out of the house because their parents don't accept them. And I didn't know about these stories about Matthew Shepard, and just it all builds up. You know, they still need help, and we still need to raise awareness, and they still need to be accepted. And when I did this project, it really did change my thoughts on LGBT, and it changed me as a person and how we need to accept them more, and they're people too.
I also learned a lot about it. I came into the project not judging them. I knew that they were people too. I'm friends with a lot of people, and they're people too. They're awesome. I love them so much. And I learned a lot. Danae gave me so many facts. I was overwhelmed, and now I'm so interested in this topic, and I want to talk to my friends about it. The ones who use gay as an insult, I get so insulted when people say that because I know it's wrong, and I feel like they don't know that, but maybe mentioning it to them sometime would be nice.
I got to learn a lot about this topic, and it was important to me because I'm actually a member of the community. So it's nice to know that things are changing so much, and I get to grow up in a world where things will be more equal. And I learned a lot about my group members and how to work together. Even though we did have some disagreements, we ended up working pretty productively together.
This overall experience was kind of frustrating at first because despite sometimes having worked with my group members in the past, like 3 of us were in a storytelling group, which was a project that we did before the first 9 weeks. And I went to middle school at Victoria, so we have some background knowledge, but it was just so frustrating how little that they knew, even though they were just so passionate, they just didn't really know how to channel it. So I'm a member of the community. I'm your token gender fluid kid. So it was just full of me trying to explain things and then all getting worked up because it's just like such an emotional topic because we're people, and like it just, when people take it out of context, it doesn't seem like other people understand that, but it's just, it all came and it calmed down, and today was so much fun and it was just great. So I love the experience.
And everyone is different, and that's what makes us all the same. So that is all.
Yes. First of all, congratulations. I think this is a great project that you have started, especially lately. This is one of the where I say that because it's just how do you think we can influence perhaps other schools, high school, especially when the kids around 15-year-old commit suicide or being picked on? What is it that we can do?
Well, there is at Lee High School, there is a club called the Gay Straight Alliance Club, and we wanted to volunteer with them, but unfortunately there wasn't enough people in it, or I don't know how we couldn't.
The teacher, she just didn't respond back, and there was a conflict with that.
Yeah, and it was hard for us to volunteer, and I think that's a big problem nowadays that we can't. We try to help, but we can't, and I think that's in schools where we need clubs like the Gay Straight Alliance Club, and there is one. But there's just
not in college because, like you said, you have difficulties. I think to get kids to open up more, to start it at your level, that's where even as early as it can possibly be.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's important to accept it, but I think that's to go to the root of the problem in education, like you say.
Knowledge is power.
At a younger age, will help a lot.
I think about ISA is that we all come from different groups. We're all from different middle schools. Some of us aren't even from San Antonio. So if we could all just like take a little bit of this presentation back to where we came from and just spread it there, it would go even farther. And that's kind of the issue. It's because nobody wants to do that. So
I have a question. question about the Human Rights Campaign. Also, I echo the topic. Do you know how many organizations in this community, the San Antonio metropolitan area, participate in Human Rights Campaign?
We contacted about 8 organizations. So I only know of 8, but we only got 2 volunteer with Trinity.
Yeah, I contacted a bunch and some didn't even email me back. They, maybe like 2 emailed me back. They told me that the group wasn't over 18 and couldn't volunteer.
I'm curious, I work for an organization that has declined to participate in the Human Rights Campaign, which I feel pretty passionate about. And it's a large organization in San Antonio. And I've learned that there are many organizations in San Antonio that do not participate. Unfortunately, it's a pretty large percentage. You guys are young, and part of your awareness, I think you should just try and get those organizations to participate. So whatever you can do.
Well, originally, what we were supposed to, our main idea was homelessness and how they're not accepted, and that was our main cause. And we wanted to work at a LGBT homeless center, but we couldn't because we weren't 18 and older. And we were like, well, we're not going to stop there. Let's try to go a little bit bigger. So we made our topic more about how we can try to accept like a broader, like more, like a better group instead of the homeless LGBT. So the Human Rights Campaign was like something that we tried. I guess we should have been more educated on the Human Rights Campaign. We didn't know if it wasn't. Thank you. Thank you.
Any more questions? Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. If you'll turn in your paperwork, you're free to go.